of Local Government Areas, the Chairman, Universal Basic Education Board, Ebonyi State, and of course his Secondary Education Board counterpart, and management members of boards of the Universal Basic Education Board in Ebonyi State, and of course the Secondary Education Board also in the state in attendance. We have leadership of coordinators, Development Center Coordinators Forum in Ebonyi State, members of AGON, and other top government functionaries in Ebonyi State, all in attendance to be part of this very important training for teachers in Ebonyi State. Once again, we are bringing you the live broadcast of this training on the stables of EBBC, Salt FM, and Salt TV, Abakaliki.
Ebonyi State Council, Comrade Tony Mwizi and Secretary, Comrade Namdi Awa. I welcome all of you. Permanent Secretary, Minister of Local Government, I would like to welcome you, sir. In a very special way, Comrade Ben Movo, caretaker chairman of Abakaliki Local Government, and National President of his Nodo Youth Forum. National President, you're welcome.
ekele.
Thank you very much, Stella. Please, before you come on board, please listen to this very important announcement. All caretaker chairmen, coordinators of the European centers, and management committee members are expected to sign the attendance local government by local government and submit to Honorable Commissioner for Education, please. Secondly, all health workers should also sign the attendance local government by local government and submit it through the administrative secretary of their various LGAs, please. Thank you. Finally, teachers, principals and teachers from all the zones should also prepare their own zone by zone to be countersigned by the CSPs and local government education secretaries, please, and also submit to Honorable Commissioner for Education. It's very important, please. Thank you. Delam.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Obonem so na ndị dị ndụ ebe achọ nke fere Chineke aka. Mgbe ị mara na iso na ndị dị ndụ kụọrọ Chineke aka gị n'ahụ. Achọ m ka ị mara na aka ọbụla a na-akụrụ Chineke adịghị ebute coronavirus. Aka ọbụla a na-eji akụrụ Chineke aka enweghị ihe ga-emenụ ka coronavirus banye n'aka. Unu ekwekwara otu a? Ikwere tiere m haleluya. Aka na-esi ka ikele onye nọ gị n'akụkụ mana nsogbu dị. Mana Jos tụgharịa ma ọ bụkwa na ikpu face mask si onye nọ gị n'akụkụ nnọọ. Ngwa ka anyị nyerite onye bi n'igwe ekele. Ọ bụ na ịdị ndụ nyerite onye kere igwe ekele. Otu aka na-eru maka igwe agbarụsi ngele tụrụ ngele nwa ọnụ. Otu nwa agbọghọ bụ n'ụwa niile ọgbụgba ọdụrụ eji ọrụ ka m na-akpọ ya. Oje mgbe ewu ime a gbara n'ihu ọrụ si Jizọs dike dike ndikere onye biri biri na-erubere isi. Ọgbaka arịọ ji ka m na-akpọ nwanne otu onye ka m na-akpọ ebe eze ndị eze ka m na-akpọ ebe biko ka anyị nyerite onye kere anyị ekele. You are the most high. You are the most song together. The song is just, you are the most high. You are the most high God. Let me hear you. You are the most high. Oh, you are the most high God. You are the most high. Oh, you are the most high God. Jehovah, you are the most high. Jehovah, you are the most high God. Jehovah, you are the most high. Jehovah, you are the most high God. You are the most high. Jehovah, you are the most high God. Jehovah, you are the most high. Jehovah, you are the most high God. You are the You can't be high as the most high. No matter the level of ganja you smoke, you can't be high as the most high. No matter the level of certificate you have, you cannot be intelligent like the most high. No matter the level of car you ride, you cannot be rich as the most high. No matter the level of money in your account, you cannot be rich as the most high. No matter the level of weed you smoke, you can be higher as the most high. Jehovah, you are 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 the most high. No matter the level of house you reach, you cannot be high as the most high. No matter the level of weed you smoke, you can be high as the most high. No matter the level of school you go, you cannot be high like the most high. No matter the level of money in your account, you cannot be rich as the most high.
Happening at the Christian Ecumenical Center, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, venue of the training of teachers for safe school resumption, management and conduct of the 2020 final examinations for GSS 3 and SS3 classes in the face of COVID-19 pandemic in Ebonyi State. The training is at the instance of Ebonyi State government for teachers of exit classes in the schools in Ebonyi State. Still waiting for the arrival of His Excellency the Governor for the official commencement of this event, and the live coverage of this event is still coming to you on the stables of EBBC, Salt FM and Salt TV, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our dear participants, please, we want everybody to be seated at this point. His Excellency the Governor will soon be here, please. Please, can we go back to our seats? We can continue with that exercise thereafter, please. Let's go back to our seats, please. Please, can we go back to our seats? Thank you. Please, I've been directed to also inform all the JSS 3 teachers and SS 3 teachers to wait behind immediately after this event, please. We have to stay back for important briefing. So far so good. Please, organizers, help us. Let us suspend everything now. Please, security agents, please assist us so that people can be seated before the arrival of His Excellency the Governor. Please, can we do that urgently, please? Thank you. We want to welcome the Secretary to Ebonyi State Government and Coordinating Commissioner, Dr. Kenneth Igwe-Ubara. SSG, you're welcome, sir. The Chief Medical Director of Alex Ekweme Federal University Teaching Hospital is here. Dr. Emeka Onwoga, CMD, welcome you, sir. Dr. Sunday Z. Wangele, Honorable Commissioner for Grants and Donor Agencies, I welcome you. And of course, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Chris Archie, PhD. Doc, you're most welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the chief driver of today's event, Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. Chidma is here. Honorable Commissioner, we want to welcome you and to salute your efforts so far at ensuring orderliness in what we are doing today. Commissioner, I appreciate you, sir. Please, can we go back to our seats, please? Our dear teachers, please, can we go back to our seats? Please, let's go back to our seats, please. Before His Excellency arrives, please. Thank you.
Affected over 180 countries around the world, including Nigeria. In Nigeria, our first case was in February, but sadly, every state in the country has been affected as we speak. Globally around the world, the WHO, as at this morning, reported that the world has a total of over 18 million confirmed cases of COVID-19. And in Africa, the cases are rising. And in Nigeria, the cases are rising. In Nigeria, as of today, the NCDC has reported that we have over 45,000 confirmed cases. In Ebonyi State, the NCDC's website has a record of over 800 cases. And Ebonyi State ranks as among the top 15 states in the nation. In the southeast, Enugu State still tops, followed by Ebonyi State in the number of confirmed cases. But sadly, the number of deaths, Ebonyi seems to be topping the charts here. So how is COVID-19 spread? Basically through droplets and through close personal unprotected contact with infected persons, like touching, shaking of hands, and through indirect contact, touching of surfaces that has been contaminated by droplets of already infected individuals. And basically the symptoms are fever, cough, difficulty in breathing, shortness of breath, and tiredness. But there are also other symptoms which the healthcare workers would also elicit when someone comes to them suspected of COVID-19. What have we learned about COVID-19? It's highly contagious, and older people, those with underlying medical conditions like high blood pressure, heart and lung problems, diabetes, cancer, are at a higher risk of developing serious illness. We've also seen that transmission occurs within areas like nosocomial transmission, hospital settings, household transmission within families, and within enclosed spaces. We've also learned that we have people that we categorize as asymptomatics, people without symptoms. But then, although majority of the cases are mild, we have a significant proportion that are moderate and severe. But then somebody will say, if majority of them are mild, why should I worry about COVID-19? The truth is that we found from studies that a significant proportion of them could progress from mild to moderate, from moderate to severe, critical, and we don't want that to happen to anyone. We've also learned that even before a person begins to manifest symptoms of COVID, within 24 to 48 hours before symptoms, the individual begins to spread this virus unknowingly. So there is need for us to enforce preventive measures to prevent a spread. What is the WHO Global COVID-19 Response Strategy? Basically, it's to limit human-to-human transmission and reduce infection from an infected person to another. Somebody will take us on that. And its other strategy is to identify early, isolate, and care for people who are affected early. Someone will take us through on that. Then the WHO also has its focus, which NCDC is also working with, on addressing and understanding crucial unknowns of this disease, because we are learning so much about it, like the clinical severity, extent of spread, treatment options, and then provide more knowledge concerning diagnostics, including therapeutics and vaccines. Part of this strategy also, which is also a reason why we're all here, is for us to communicate appropriate information regarding this illness, particularly in the area of critical risk and event information to all communities and to counter misinformation. Another strategy is to minimize the social and economic impact. We know that our children have been out of school for a long time, and gradually processes are being made, recommendations are being made for a gradual return to life post-COVID. And this is through multi-sectoral partnerships. And that explains, and that is a foundation on which we are all here today. Now I'll take you briefly a few minutes on COVID-19 and the educational sector, because I'm sure you are not here to listen to all the things, almost your medical, what some people call jargons. But then, someone said, he said, education is the key to everything that is good in our world. Teachers, do you agree with me? Teachers are great. Teachers are great. Alright, I'm talking about you now. COVID-19 and the educational sector. Someone said, and truly I believe, that education is the key to everything that is good in our world today. Education helps us build on the advances of great minds, and the world will not be here today if we have not built on advances from computers, communication, information technology, mathematics, medicine, psychology, and every other thing based on previous knowledge which is impacted through educators to the upcoming generation. So what has happened in Nigeria in the educational sector? I just want to take us back to memory lane, and just to remind us that in the beginning of this year, when the children resume schools, they resume their second term. They weren't planning that they'll be home for this long. But sadly, because of the pandemic, to safeguard the lives of our children, youth, teachers, and educational personnel, the schools were closed nationwide on the 26th of March. But then, in July 2020, that's a few weeks ago, a recent guideline was released by the Honorable Minister of Education in partnership with health and safety experts, Ministry of Health, the NCDC, regarding guidelines for safe reopening of schools after the COVID-19 pandemic closure. But then, while going through this recently, in fact less than 2 weeks ago, a communique was released that exit classes are to reopen. And that's why we're having this session. And so, in the post-COVID-19 era, what is the role of the educators? We're talking about the principals, administrators, the students, all those who are involved in the school system. And when we focus perhaps on the principals and the administrators, the focus will be to create a COVID-19 compliant safe learning environment, which other speakers will go through to make us understand better. And then to enforce COVID-19 safety precautions because of your leadership role in that sphere of influence, as well as ensuring that there is training and retraining of the staff under you so that they give the right information both to one another and to the students under them within this period of the exit classes, as well as updating oneself to have up-to-date knowledge of COVID-19 from the appropriate relevant authorities to guide the school policies. I have here some details on the specifics, but Dr. Wangele will take us through that in the next presentation. But I'll just go through some of them very briefly. For principals and administrators, we recommend that you provide wash points, hand washing stations, where students can wash their hands, staff can wash their hands under running water with soap, hand sanitizers, establishment and well equipment of dispensaries, clinics, well ventilated classrooms, and the like. So what is the role of the teachers? Someone will still expatiate on that, but we expect that as the teachers to whom these children look up to, you will provide the correct information, risk communication, which you take in previous sessions to these students, as well as enforce these preventive measures, and that you yourselves comply with this preventive measure so that you work in a safe environment and our children will learn in a safe environment. In conclusion, education is the key to a successful and thriving society. Teachers, do you agree with me? Yes. Education is the key to a successful and thriving society. And the children are the future leaders of tomorrow. So all hands must be on deck to ensure the safety of our children in this post-COVID-19 society, especially as they come together for the exit classes and then write their examination. And finally, I will end with this word by Nelson Mandela, who says that education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. Let's give our children the right education they require in a safe post-COVID-19 era, in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Together for Dr. Sophia Osowa for that presentation, very beautiful presentation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation is coming from Honorable Commissioner for Grants and Donor Agencies, Dr. Sunday Wangele. Subsequent presenters, you have 5 minutes to make your presentations. Let me invite Dr. Wangele to please step forward. Dr. Wangele, please. 5 minutes presentation from Dr. Sunday Wangele. Will be speaking on COVID-19 in Ebonyi State, way forward, and role of teachers in containment of COVID-19. Put your hands together for Dr. Sunday Wangele as he steps forward. Thank you.
Hello.
Your Excellencies, the SSG, members of the State School, the CMD and the Central Medical Team, great teachers of Ebonyi State, ladies and gentlemen, teachers will our health workers we I am here to demonstrate why we are here. If you pay keen attention, in the next 3 minutes you know why we are here in a practical form. What we have invited you to go and do in your various schools, that's what I want to do here now. If you are here for this program, if you miss this section, you may have missed something while you listen to our various speakers thereafter. Our agenda is set reopening of schools according to the timetable you have. Our dear Governor, His Excellency, Engineer Dr. David Uwezo Mahi has convened this meeting for us to be on the same page according to NCDC protocol. What is that you have come to hear? What is that we want to tell you? What is that is expected of you to do in your homes and in the 228 schools? I invite you to listen attentively. I have about 5 minutes to demonstrate this, and I will share it into 2. The first 2 minutes is a small playlet, a drama, what we call edutainment. On here. Please pay attention. In less than 4 minutes, I will be done. Mama Leka. Mama Leka. Can I get a position of Gaba? Hey! This is what you come. You go away here. Who's going to get a Gaba? Hey! Mama Leka, you are never getting sick. Coronavirus. Coronavirus. Make sure I see no rubber. Oh, God, I see no rubber. Take you no rubber. Eh? Okola kwa na achibido. Go what teacher. Ibusa ibuya. Bulu bugalo maka gino no ola akwọ. Ona sim no rubber. Me kwa ka ngwa gi. Iwanu ki si je bawo. Eh? Awa kwa na awo to ba de sinu no mo ọzọ. Eh? Kini uni da mi he. Genti ka ngwa gi. Gọọmenti na-ama ọkwa si rapụ ije nzukọ rapụ na nzukọ ọkachasị kịta a na-ebido ụlọ akwụkwọ inwe ike ịpụ ebe ahụ iburu ọya korona bugara ụmụ akwụkwọ gị ọ bụrụ sọsọ nzukọ ma ị na-akwụgharị nkwụgharị isi ebe a ifere ebe a isi ebe a ifere ebe a si rapụ ya unu mechie skuul na aba na be gị na taba n'ụlọ gị na ụmụaka gị nọ n'ụlọ mekwa ya ka ngwa gị ị ga na-akwụ aka ugboro ugboro ihe na a na-ekwunye ọta ka ekwube mmiri na-agba agba iwere ewere ncha ekpochapụ aka gị irukwa bụ ụmụaka gị n'ụlọ akwụkwọ gwa ha na ka esi emesi enwe onye nke mee ka arụ ọkụ n'elie kpọba ndị na-afụ maka ya enwe ndị health workers na-anọ n'ụlọ akwụkwọ ebe ahụ Baba, come on, you see, bring up what? Did you bring up? Bring those up. The buyer, hey, first mask in Guatemala, he went up with you. Can you drop your no? Oh, Musela, will you get off of the Ebon Monsuko? If only in Apollo. After the Apollo. Mbaka go do. Asiki na ebu first mask gi ogo abuna ilukwa go ma aka gi no na akwụkwọ. Gwa ha. Mameka asịkwa na ụkpana okpoko bụ na gịnị mere ya ntuchilie ịchọkwa ịma ịmarụ ịchọrọ ịma nke agbasara gị eji omebe mmeje. Can you put your hands together for him? Hello. We have 228 schools that will take either JS3 or SSC. We have about 4,000 teachers who must comply with what we are going to tell you today. The little edutainment says, number one, teacher, male and female, stop going around. Stop attending functions that involves crowding. Can't go school again, till school and teacher. Edmes Nangari, Maki Weki Mangari, give Butoria Corona, they are doing Lula Kukunu. These 228 schools are found in the 171 wards of Ebonyi State, in the 13 local government. Each of these schools, teachers, can you hear me? Each of these schools, according to Ministry of Education, UBEP and SEB, through the Ministry of Local Government, with the support of Ministry of Health and Central Medical Team, we are going to do the following. Number one, health workers, Madunabo per school. Management committee members, Madunabo per school, Odimadole, Maduano. Then coordinator and chairman, we will send the supervisors. So in each of the 228 schools, I can go about 5-man team. Madi say, Ghana Anona, and a beginning, you wanna get to school. Our Madi say, especially the health workers.
Yes, sir.
Geji, infrared thermometer, here in Jinaka. Our dear governor is graciously providing this to all the 228 schools. This 5-man team, health workers will each school were infrared thermometer. Let's check what akwụkwọ ma ndị nkụzi ka ha si na-abịa. Akpọkwala ya na anwụ. We will tell you, of course, you know how to use it. You will use this to detect what problem with a high temperature. There is an organogram we will show you in the screen. Overall with a high temperature, 37.7 and above. There is a number you will call for immediate response. The DSNOs are there. This infrared will be in each of the schools, 228 of them. It will be used by one of the health workers. Number two, there will be a bucket containing water and soap at the gate of the school. Veronica bucket. Onye ọbụla na-abata na school ga-akwa aka ya. Number three, onye ọbụla ga na-ekpu face mask. N'ime committee and in all the schools, ladies and gentlemen, this is what is expected of you by His Excellency and the Governor for the safety of yourself and our dear children. God bless you as you comply with this directive of His Excellency. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please may we rise as we welcome His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State of Nigeria, Barrister Eric Elechiwe PhD, and his dear colleague, the Deputy Governor of the God's own state, Abia, Right Honorable Odo Okatobo. You are most welcome to the salt of the nation. Your Excellency, sir. Thank you very much.
Jesus, you live forever.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to at this point welcome our dear Deputy Governor, Barrister Eric Kelechiwe PhD, with a round of applause. Please, can we put our hands together for His Excellency the Deputy Governor? We would like to also very humbly welcome to the salt of the nation, the Deputy Governor of Abia State of Nigeria, the God's own state, His Excellency Right Honorable Udo Kochukwu PhD. Can we welcome him with a round of applause? Your Excellency, you're welcome, sir. At this point, Your Excellency, we want to continue with our presentation. Our next presentation is coming from the Honorable Commissioner for Education of the State of Nigeria, Dr. Onyebuchi Chima. My dear teachers, please can we put our hands together for Honorable Commissioner for Education. This is very important. He will soon visit your school on inspection. Honorable Commissioner, you're welcome, sir.
Okay. Let me first of all recognize the presence of Our Excellencies, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State and the Deputy Governor of Abia State. You're welcome, Excellencies. I also recognize the presence of our dear SSG, the Coordinating Commissioner, the person that also helped us to put this together. You're welcome, excellent, SSG. While I wait for the technical team to put my slides for me to make my presentation, even though I am going to make an opening remark when our dear governor arrives, I want to tell all of us the reasons why we are here today. We have 3 questions that we must ask, and 3 questions we must answer, and 3 questions we must know the answer throughout the period we reopen our schools during this COVID-19. It was a painstaking decision for the state and the federal government to make this decision, allowing our children to come back to school during this pandemic. It was not an easy decision. No one of us will be alive to witness another pandemic. We are not working with any precedent. There is no health precedent or educational precedent that we are following. We are following the virus as it challenges us. And the challenge it poses now is that we must observe all the protocols as we teach you here today. We are aware that you already know all this, but how do we apply it in our school system? That is why we are here. And that's leads us to these 3 questions. How do we manage our schools during pandemic? How do we maintain the relationship between teachers and students during pandemic? How do we maintain relationship between students? How do we maintain relationship between students, pupils, though we are not reopening primary schools, and our teachers? And how do we conduct exams during this period of pandemic? And that is the 3 questions you must know the answers all the time during this short period. We have 23,200 and some fraction students. 16,800 of them are in our public schools. These are the figures that will be taking WAEC in Ebonyi State this year. We have over 33,000 students taking junior WAEC, what we call EBBC. And over 22,000 of them are in our public schools. And that is why this training is very necessary. So,
if we ask that question, to answer it, of course, we all know this. The head teacher and town union have helped us in clearing our schools. Fumigation is ongoing as we are talking to you. The person in charge of that fumigation is right now at Ohozra. Our schools are being fumigated. But the issue is this: once the fumigation is done, it only lasts 72 hours. How do we continue to fumigate our schools? Simple mechanism. You can buy Izole or any of these common disinfectant and ensure you keep the classrooms clean and disinfect it every morning that you come to school. While he's doing this, let me just, I am the one that prepared it. I can tell you what I did. Okay. Okay. Can you help me this? So, how do you take exam during pandemic? Or how do you manage the school during pandemic? This is what the Ebonyi State government, this is the protocol we wish all of you to observe. During the period we are reopening schools for revision, we will not allow our students morning assembly. This is because we wouldn't want a situation where social distancing will not be maintained. Number two, during this period we are reopening schools, we would not allow breaks. This is because we will not beat our chest and say we can confirm with all validity that those children will not come together and play together without maintaining social distance. But in a situation where breaks must be allowed, we have two protocols. One, breaks must be supervised. Breaks must be supervised. And it must be in batches of 20 students per each batch. JS3 and SS3 must attend their breaks separately. No two streams of the class should attend breaks at the same time. Because if you allow 20 at each streams of the classes, that will bring about 40 of them. No selling food vendors are not allowed in our schools during the period of exams. Must a child bring a lunch pack in the school? The period from consumption of lunch pack must be put down in our timetable. And the consumption of lunch packs must be supervised by our head teachers and our health workers. On the issue of managing schools, we must ensure that at all times that the children are approaching you, you must wear your face masks. You must wash your hands. In a situation where washing of hands is not possible, the use of hand sanitizers must be ensured. Even though His Excellency will be providing to our children hand sanitizers, the head teachers must ensure at all point in time that each classroom, the offices contain a hand sanitizer and a hand washing machine. The two health officers that will be posted in our various schools must at all times ensure they check the temperature of everybody in that school, including themselves. We are not going to allow visitors or parents into the school premises. The only visitors we are going to allow into the school premises shall only be those that are there for official purposes. Shall only be those that are there for official purposes. And this includes WAEC or EBBC examiners, or some of the monitors that we may be sending from our ministries or parastatals. During the conduct of examination, this examination we are going to take this period is a special examination. Examination that is taken during the time of pandemic. Like I said before, there is no precedent. So how do we conduct examination during a pandemic? We have our supervisors, we have our invigilators. From the point of collection of the question papers, so many hands must have touched it. So many hands must have touched it, and we do not know who has contaminated it. And then we may be transmitting it to our children when we pass the question papers to them. We will advise this way that all the question papers must be sterilized with a simple sterilizers or disinfectants. That is what we must do before we do those question papers to our children. We must at the same time, while doing the period of the examination, ensure that all of us wear the face masks. All the supervisors and the vigilators must wear it. The examiners, WAEC or NECO or anybody from Examination Development Center must wear it. The bags that we must put those question papers or answer script must be disinfected. And of course, social distancing during the period of the examination must be maintained. We agreed during our national meeting that we must maintain 2 meters, at least 1 meter, during the examinations. Not only that, it ensures that we do not transmit this pandemic that we cannot see, it also helps us in checking examination malpractice. And this is now I'm going to talk to my children. Have confidence as you take this year's exam. Yes, it's a challenge unto you, but you should not fear this challenge. It's a period you should tell the world that we are Ebonyians, that out of challenge this state was created, and that out of this challenge we will survive. And even though they said we are educationally backwards, this exam will be another exam that will show the metal we are made of. So do your best, my children, and ensure you get the best result in the whole of Nigeria. Back to the teachers. When these examinations are going on, please maintain decorum. The period you make the examination class crowding will not only make the examination class hall crowded, it will also promote opportunity for dissemination of this infection, because you'll be touching one table to another. Drop the examination papers on with what I would call precision dropping. You do not have to touch the tables. They should give it to you without touching anybody's hand. And we've agreed we must have one entrance to the school. The entrance must be where you put a bucket, where all of them must sanitize their hands and at the same time wash their hands. At the laboratory there must be a hand sanitizer and a running water for them to wash their hands. At every point in time, especially most of you that are our female teachers, please listen to our female students, because they are special people. There may be some other issues other than just pandemic. We want the health workers to pay them attention. To our criminals and those of them with disabilities, please provide them special attention, because this pandemic requires we give them special attention. As I talk to you during my opening remark, I will say more. But let me conclude this way, that if you want to know more, we will send these things here to our website, www.moe.eb.gov.ng. We will send all these things to our website. You can always at any point in time download it on your Android phone or make references to the website on the protocols that we've agreed as a ministry that must guide what you do during this challenging period. May God bless all of you so much.
Thank you very much. I think that applause is too small for Honorable Commissioner for Education. Please a better round of applause for him. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next presentation will come from Permanent Secretary Minister of Health, Dr. Chris Achi, who will be speaking on break the chain of transmission of COVID-19 in Ebonyi State, and it has 5 minutes to do that.
His Excellency, our Honorable Deputy Governor, Barrister Eric Kelechi with PhD. His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Abia State, the SLG, members of the State Executive Council, distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
permit me to stand on the already established protocol. I want to discuss the breaking of the chain of transmission of COVID-19 in Ebonyi State. First of all, in epidemiology, when an outbreak of the disease is reported, like the case we had at hand on the 31st of December 2019, an outbreak was reported in Wuhan, China. Once an outbreak of a disease is reported, the next thing is to establish actually that there is an outbreak. And that was what the World Health Organization did between 31st of December 2019 to 7th of January 2020, when they established actually that there was an outbreak of a strange disease caused by the coronavirus, and they codenamed it COVID-19. That is the disease. So that was the first step, is to establish that there is an outbreak, that there is a disease outbreak. The second step is to establish the cause of that disease outbreak. It can be a virus, it can be a bacteria, it can be anything. It can be from chemicals, can cause an outbreak. But the most important thing now is, once you establish that there is an outbreak, there is a disease outbreak, you must establish the cause of that outbreak. Whether it is virus, whether it is bacteria, whether it is chemical. And that was exactly what the next step they took, by establishing that that disease was caused by a virus called coronavirus. Once you establish that, the next thing to do is, what is the mode of transmission? Who is involved? What is the source of that transmission? Because an outbreak can be sourced from one person or from a group of people or from contaminated food. So once you've established that there is an outbreak, we now say, what is the source of this outbreak? Because you must know what caused it, what is the origin, how did it start? And that was when in Wuhan, China, the first thing they announced was this outbreak was transmitted from animals to man. That is the next step. Once you've established the source of the outbreak, the next thing is the mode of transmission. How is it transmitted? Is it through contact? Is it airborne? Is it waterborne? What is the mode of transmission? Because you do not know the mode of transmission, you will not know how to break the chain of transmission. And that equally has been established. And that is why we now say it is through droplets, air droplets from individuals who are already infected. The next thing that is important about this virus we are talking about, because there were where we missed the link from the beginning of this outbreak, and that's why it became a pandemic. There are a few things we would have done immediately this outbreak was reported in China, and it would have contained within that place without getting to other parts of the world, but we missed the link somewhere. But now we've come to a place where it is already here with us. Initially we were talking about how to stop community transmission, but now we have the community transmission. What you hear most of the time when you listen to it, we are talking about flattening the curve and all those things. But first of all, before we tackle, because now we know the disease is here, we know the mode of transmission, that's what we need to know. What we've known about this virus is that somebody can start transmitting when the person has not started showing symptoms of the disease. But there's equally one good thing about this virus. Because somebody, especially those who have very strong immunity, as the virus gets into your body system, your body builds up immunity that will start fighting the virus. And that is why most people will have the virus clear from their system within 10 days to 14 days of that. And that's why we have to quarantine people for 14 days. So for those who are lucky, who have strong immunity, their body system can clear the virus even without receiving any medication within the 14 days. But there's equally a danger, because most people will get this virus, will get infected through people who are not showing symptoms within the first 10 days. And that is what we need to know, so that we can know how we break the chain in communication, in transmission of this disease. Because within this period, somebody that is not showing symptoms will be transmitting the disease to people who does not know he has it. And that is why now it is, they say, health is everybody's business. Now all of us have a business, have a role to play if we must break the chain of transmission of this virus. What is the most important?
The most important thing now that we have in the community is not physical or social distancing alone. It is not the use of sanitizers. It is not the use of infrared thermometers. The most important thing we need now is this use of face mask. Are we together? The most important thing is because everybody must use face mask, both young and old, especially now we want to open our schools. It's not when you wear the face mask, the reason why is because you transmit it when you speak, when you talk, when you shout, and when you sneeze. Because when you sneeze, the virus can come out and infect somebody that is close to you. But as I'm putting on face mask and they are putting properly, you use it to cover your mouth and your nose. If I sneeze, it will not get to you. If you are talking, the droplet from you cannot get to me. And that is why the most important thing we need to do to break the chain in transmission is for us to adopt the principle of everybody compulsorily using the face mask. I see so many people wearing the face mask on their neck or putting it under the jaw. You have not done anything. For you to properly wear the face mask, it must cover your nose and your mouth. So as we go back to school, as our students come into the school, we make sure that every teacher wears his or her face mask without removing it. Are we together? Throughout the examination period, every child must wear his or face mask, closing the mouth and the nose without removing it until you get home. Once we are able to observe this strictly, that is the only time we begin to break the virus. Within 72 hours, it will die if it does not transmit another person. That is the only way we can break the chain of transmission of this virus. So the most important thing we have to do is that we must compulsorily put on the face mask wherever in any gathering we are. Thank you and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Prime Minister of the Ministry of Health. May I invite Dr. Urom to come forward and speak on public health actions against COVID-19. Dr. Urom, please. Put your hands together for him as he steps forward. 5 minutes, sir.
His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, Barrister Kelechi Igwe, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Abia State, Honorable Commissioner for Health, here present, SSG, the Coordinating Commissioner, and all members of the Safety Council, principals, teachers here present. We welcome you once again to our COVID-19 response. You can recall that Ebonyi State had their first case on 26th of April 2020. Here I'll be presenting for Dr. Urom, Director of Public Health, and then I'll be joining my own, which borders on safety during school reopening. I'm Dr. Mega Samson, State Epidemiologist. There are 3 basic things we need to observe, which will look at the public health measures in containing COVID-19. The 3 things are very simple. Number 1 is the use of face masks. Number 2 is hand washing. And then number 3, we are looking at the major things that will shield us from this virus, which is social distancing or safe distancing. So if we decided to use face masks, how do we do that? We want everybody to join in the campaign to enforce the use of face masks. You must ensure that the person you are discussing with must have face mask. That's the first way to start. You must ensure somebody coming to see you in the office must have face mask. You must ensure that every child coming to school must have face mask. Even at the point of entry in the school, we must ensure that every teacher, staff, even
food vendors coming to sell certain things to the school must have face masks. Issue of hand washing cannot be overemphasized, because we expect that every school, not only we are going to have this thing as part of IPC measures in place, we want people to enforce it. As you are coming in, we must see you observing 5 hands protocols. You must apply while washing your hands. Then for social distancing is important. We don't say that COVID-19 has ended. No. If you comply in these 3 measures, we are going to flatten the curve of COVID-19 in our states. By this, I think I'm through with the public health actions. Then we enter proper into the topic I'm to present, which borders on safety as we are reopening our schools. It's still a continuation because we are looking at continuous advocacy, mobilization, sensitization, that every parent, teacher, and learners must imbibe to accept all the public health measures we have enumerated above. And also issues of when in school, we expect teachers to encourage students to be a source of carrying this information to their parents. If every teacher is to put this every child, that means every family must have been able to receive proper education on public health measures for school reopening. And we can never forget issues of environmental sanitation. We expect, as we are going back to the school, that the premises must be clean. We expect that the environmental health officers must resume again visiting schools to ensure that every school premises is clean. They will also ensure that we are complying with the IPCs. We also expect, as we are going to the school, that each school must identify school clinic. It is that school clinic that we are going to have a space which we are going to use as isolation space. When a child or a teacher is sick, it is that space we expect that child to be isolated, and then the healthcare worker will be informed so that they will take appropriate measure. With this, we will be sure that there will be safety in school. Even when a child is sick, we already know what to do. The healthcare worker is there. The good referral system is in place. We just call the ambulance, the rapid response team. They use the ambulance, convert the child, and investigate and take appropriate action. If you have this in mind and comply to this, we can be rest assured that there will be no COVID-19 in any school in our state. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for Dr. Emeka Sampson. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, next presentation is coming from Dr. Ona from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Dr. Ona, please put your hands together for him as he steps forward to collect the microphone for his presentation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of the State, the SSG, other members of the State ESCO, my Chief Medical Director, my other very senior colleagues here present, the permanent secretaries. I am Dr. Alfred Ona, as introduced by the moderator. I will be speaking on infection prevention and control, measures that will be applied against COVID-19 as our schools reopen and activities are conducted in the schools. I wish to draw the indulgence of this gathering that issues about IPC is very, very vast that a day wouldn't be enough to get it properly treated. But with the constraint of time, I'll try as much as possible to give us as much as could be take homes within the time allotted to me. So infection prevention and control is a general term that is used for all infections, not specific to COVID-19. It is practiced in the healthcare setting, is also practiced outside the healthcare setting. But in the context of COVID-19 and as it concerns the reopening of our schools, I am going to narrow my discussion to the extent that by the time we live here, by the time our teachers live here, we will have one or two things to show that it's been a worthwhile period to have attended this event. I have an outline which I may not go into, but very importantly, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, have made my presentation very simple. He had talked extensively on the breaking of the chain of transmission. Dr. Pepe also dealt with what I should talk about, but then I may throw one more light or two to some of all those discussions. I would like to say that for any infection to occur, three factors must be present. Those three factors include the agent of that infection. The second is the host of the infection. And the third is the environment that will make the infection thrive in the host. And in the context of COVID-19, the agent is the virus, coronavirus. A lot of theories have actually been propounded about the hosts. Earlier it was mentioned it was from animal to man. Yes. The first time this disease was discovered, it was from animal to man. But the preoccupation of the World Body and then CDC and all governments of the countries of the world, including our own states, we are more concerned about human to human transmission, because that is where we are, and that is what has brought us here today. The issue of animal to man transmission, even though it still exists, our primary concern at the moment is what happens between human to human transmission. When we talk about the environment, just like was mentioned by the previous speakers, we are thinking of how do we make the environment safe so that it wouldn't be conducive for the agent, which is the coronavirus, as to affect the host, which is the human. And that takes us to that chain of transmission that was mentioned by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health. There are actually 6 components of that chain of transmission. And if at any point the component of that chain is interrupted, COVID-19 will be a story of the past. What are those components? Number one is still the coronavirus we're talking about. The second is the reservoir of that infection. And in this circumstance, we're talking about human as a reservoir. What do you mean by reservoir? It means the individual in the cause of COVID-19 that harbors the virus. And it is from this reservoir that it will exit through what we call the portal of exit as to affect some other persons. And from that portal of exit, it has to have a vehicle, which is the third component called the mode of transmission. From the mode of transmission, it has to enter the individual, which is the host, through portal of entry.
And if you get through that part of entry, it will affect that susceptible host. Now, COVID-19, the part of exit is our mouth, our nose. And that is why all of us here are putting on these face masks. If we are able to contain COVID-19, the virus that causes COVID-19, within the individual, within the reservoir, by use of this face mask, that is a very, very important measure to contain the virus by limiting it to that host. And that was what the commissioner, press secretary was talking about, use of face mask. So, how is it transmitted actually? It could be direct transmission, it could be by indirect transmission. And I want us to really listen to this. When we talk about direct transmission, we mean when there is one-on-one transmission from somebody who has it to somebody who doesn't have it. By way of coughing, sneezing, or talking. And in each of these activity, a lot of what we call droplets are generated from that person who has it. Droplets are very tiny liquids that if released in the environment, it will get to the next person. Then we talk about the indirect. It means when such droplets form on surfaces. Take for instance in the classrooms. If a teacher is not putting on face mask, if a child is not putting on face mask, and the child sneezes or the teacher sneezes, the chance that individual has the virus that was released alongside that droplet, and it drops on surfaces like those tables, another individual who doesn't have it on touching those surfaces inadvertently picks it up, and if the hand passes towards the mouth or the face, that person already gets it. That's the indirect way of transmitting COVID-19. For one of time, I think, let me just go straight to very, very important thing I really observed that almost everyone is a culprit to it. The way we use our face mask, I think we need to really have a different orientation. The Lord letter said we should be putting on our face mask at all times. Even when you're talking, your face mask has to cover your nose and your mouth. I am handling this microphone at the moment. If my mouth or nose is exposed, I will be exposing some other person that will handle the microphone to the risk of picking up that infection. So at all times, in the activities, please, it's very, very important to have this face mask on. Then, it's a very common thing everywhere that you see people hanging their face mask on their jaws. There are two dangers to that. One, you are exposed. Second is that you're also exposing others. And the other minor aspect of it is that by the time you hang your face mask on your jaw, you are collecting a lot more pathogens, that is things that can cause infection, from your jaws, assuming you have been exposed to somebody who has it, back to your mouth and you put it back on. So please, I really want to plead with us, at any point in time, our face mask has to be properly kitted, properly donned to cover our mouth and our face. Then, in our schools, it has been said time and again that we have to have hand washing stations at the gate of the school, even inside the school. Thank God the protocol of my state dictates that there should be no morning assemblies in order for us to avoid breaching of the 2-meter physical distancing. That's a very wonderful one. Finally, and briefly, we have also to observe what we call respiratory etiquette. The way we cough, the way we sneeze, using the tissue papers, coughing into our elbows, and removing our face from others when we cough.
In fact, there are a lot of other things I need to talk about. Out of time, I think I should stop here. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we want to invite at this point for next presentation, Dr. Machuku. Please, strictly 5 minutes, please. Put your hands together for Dr. Machuku as she comes forward for her presentation.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State and the Deputy Governor of Abia State, all ESCO members, all our teachers, our great principals, and all colleagues. Please permit me to stand on already established protocol. I wish to say at this point that after this session, or after today's meeting, that you all are surveillance focal persons for COVID-19. Why do I say so? You'll be able to say this is a likely case of COVID-19, and you say signal. And that's why we are going to talk about signal management, or COVID-19 signal management and triage. When we talk about the signal, we talk about your ability to pick up cases of COVID-19 in your neighborhood, in your classroom. When a student with some signs of illness, you can say this looks like COVID-19. That's why we now go to triage. Because once you talk about the signal management, your ability to detect is there. Then we now talk about investigation. Who are those that will come and investigate? The disease surveillance and notification officers, the health officers that are there. And they're able to now screen and find out, this one looks like COVID-19, and they point out to the right direction or to the right channel of communication. These students or these patients are picked up and necessary investigations are done, and we'll now take the next steps. We'll now talk about the triage. What do we need to triage? You know that triage is about sorting. When you have so many cases, you have people presenting with headache, presenting with signs of malaria, presenting with signs of pneumonia. How do you know that? How do you sort them and say this one looks like COVID-19 that we are talking about, the pandemic that is ongoing? That is what we talk about triage. That is, for us to properly control this pandemic, we need to ensure early triage. We need to conduct administrative control. That is essentially why we are here. The Honorable Commissioner for Education talked about the things we need to do during exams and the things we need to do while we are opening schools. So these are part of the administrative controls that are also necessary for us to do this. And in triage, for us to properly triage, we need to do what? Three basic things. You need to screen, you need to isolate, and you need to notify. Because once you are able to, you can't say this is suspected COVID-19 case when you have not triaged. It is when you have met someone, a student comes and complains, or a staff, I have these signs and symptoms, then you'll be able to screen. These are, we're talking about screen. What is the screen that we use? In COVID-19, what you normally use is the case definition. Like in every other surveillance for any disease, what you normally use is the case definition. What do we mean by case definition? These are signs and symptoms that we pick up, aggregates of signs and symptoms that help us pick up cases. For COVID-19, as it is now, we're in community transmission. So we now use community case definition for COVID-19. So for the community case definition for COVID-19, we say anybody with cough or minus fever or history of fever in the last 2 weeks with any of the following symptoms that we are going to list: shivering or shaking, body pains or myalgia, recent loss of taste or smell, sore throat, abdominal pain, fatigue or weakness. If somebody comes to you and now have fever plus cough plus fever or recent history of fever in the last 2 weeks and has any of these symptoms I've listed, please you need to isolate that person. That is what we use our screen. You know our normal sieve. When we have sieve, we put things on it and we sieve. So this case definition is what we use to sieve out cases of COVID-19 in our communities and in the schools, so that we identify them early. Because if you identify them early, number of contacts will be reduced. You then isolate them. Then how do we isolate them? We have been told that we have healthcare workers that will be posted to us. And also every school is necessary to have an isolation unit, what we call a holding area. So that once you identify that this person is a suspected case, I have screened. From my screen, I have picked up these symptoms. This person has met my case definition. You put that person somewhere to minimize contact with others. We are not saying that this person has COVID-19, no. We are saying that this is likely. That is what we mean by suspected case. We keep that person in the holding area to minimize contact with other students and other personnel. And then we are able to attend to that person with protection while samples are collected and transported. And then when results are out, we are communicated on the appropriate measures to take next. So what do we need in our holding area? The things that we need in our holding areas are screening questionnaire, the triage algorithm. We've talked about that. Where you have, these are the things I'll pick out and I'll know that this is a suspected case of COVID-19. I'll not talk about isolation. Sorry, I'll talk about isolation, but permit me to specifically point out to us that isolation room that you are keeping the person, you must educate the person while you are keeping him there, and you also notify the parents. And then it must be well ventilated so that the person will be comfortable and the room is closed. I will just go to recently, because of time, I will go to recently asked questions on COVID-19. These questions are what to do if a staff or student shows symptoms, what to do if a case of COVID-19, if I have a suspected case of COVID-19 in the school, what to do if I have a confirmed case of COVID-19 in the school, and what to do if a staff or student are contacts of a confirmed case. And we say that if you have someone that has shown signs and symptoms of COVID-19, then what you just need to do is, like I've already pointed out triage, you screen, you isolate, and then you notify. Who are those that you notify? The LGA, that's local government area rapid response team. We have their numbers here that are going to be shared out, possibly before the end of the meeting. Then what to do if a case is confirmed in your school? The rapid response team will contact the school, and they'll be able to have contact with members of staff and line list all the contacts of that confirmed case. Once they line list them, those confirmed cases, those contacts will now be isolated, and they will be encouraged to go on self-isolation for 14 days. Within which, if they develop symptoms, they will be able to take samples will be collected and investigations carried out. So for want of time, don't further advise, don't further state that once you have such, please notify the LGA RLT, and their numbers of the disease surveillance and notification officers, as earlier stated, will be shared out so that we know those to call when we are in need of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I invite Dr. Ojide for laboratory COVID-19. His presentation is on laboratory of COVID-19. Let me invite Dr. Ojide to make his presentation. You're welcome, sir.
State, members of the ESCO, my OCMD. My name is Dr. Ojide. I am the head of the Virology Laboratory here in Alex-Ikweme Federal University Chemistry. I am here to discuss the role of the laboratory in combating COVID-19 within the next few minutes. The lab is so important as far as the war against COVID-19 is concerned. In fact, I can boldly say that without the laboratory, we may never win the war against COVID-19. First and foremost, when this outbreak came up sometime late last year, we knew that there was an outbreak. People were coming down with signs and symptoms of respiratory disease, but nobody knew what was the problem. It was through the lab that the world came to know that there was a novel virus that is in town. The lab did not just stop there. They went ahead to characterize this novel virus and find out that it is among the family of viruses known as coronavirus. And they also went on to study further the genetic component, the genome of this virus, and saw that it was different from every other virus that had been known. So that's why it was, as at then, known as a novel virus. But later, WHO later named this virus SARS-CoV-2, that's Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. There have been SARS before, but this one is slightly different from the SARS we have before. That's why they put 2 to it. So the lab has been playing a lot of role in combating COVID-19. Whenever someone is suspected of having COVID-19, the samples are taken, usually respiratory samples, because that's where we have the yield of the virus much. This respiratory sample is usually nasal swab or oropharyngeal swab. They are taken and put inside a medium that is called viral transport medium, and it is sent to the lab. The lab will analyze the sample through the technology known as PCR, polymerase chain reaction, and we'll be able to tell at the end of the day whether this sample that was submitted is a COVID-19 sample or not. That's whether it contains the virus or not. At this juncture, I want to sincerely appreciate our state governor for his visionary leadership. Right way back 4 or 5 years ago, he established a molecular lab and handed it over to the Federal Ministry of Health. That's, let's say, Private Hospital. And when this outbreak came up early this year in Nigeria, our lab seamlessly was integrated to be able to diagnose COVID-19. I think that deserves an applause for His Excellency. Up to date, our lab has been able to test approximately 6,000 samples, and we have been able to diagnose over 1,000 cases of COVID-19. So,
distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please may we rise as we welcome His Excellency, the Governor of the State of Nigeria, Chairman Southeast Governors Forum, and Co-Chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, His Excellency, Engineer David Mezelmahe, Fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers. Your Excellency, you're welcome, sir.
There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of God. There shall be season refreshing. Sing for me, say the showers of blessing. Showers of blessing. Blessing of abundance of God. Of God showers to be.
very much. National anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Secretary Minister of Health to please give us a quick prayer. Dr. please.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father and our God, we thank you, adore your name. We thank you because you have protected our leaders, protected our people from this COVID-19. Father, thank you for healing our governor and all others that we are victims of this COVID-19. Thank you for healing our land. Today we've gathered to be able to teach our teachers and our parents what we are going to do as we reopen school so that our children will not be infected with COVID-19. Father, we pray that whatever we are going to learn today, that you shall be able to grant all that we've done today, so that at the end of the day, no child of Ebonyi State, no teacher, no one again shall be infected with the COVID-19, and you shall totally heal our land. Father, this among we ask of the through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Governor of the State of Nigeria, Engineer David Mensah Umahi, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Barrister Kelechi PhD, and your dear colleague from Abia State, His Excellency, Right Honorable Udo Kochukwu PhD, Deputy Governor of Abia State, to the south of the nation. The Right Honorable Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Chief Francis Wetru, National Vice Chairman of our great party Southeast Zone, Dikin Austin Umahi, Anamondebo, Principal Officers of Government, Executive Council members, Permanent Secretaries, Chairman of Boards and Commissions, Council Chairman and Coordinators, my dear brothers and sisters, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, before you arrived, we are having a lecture by Dr. Ojide on of COVID-19. Once again, may I invite Dr. Ojide to please step forward and conclude his presentation. Please put your hands together for him wherever you are. Thank you. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, you're welcome, sir. All other protocol duly observed. As I was saying before His Excellency arrived, that I was about saying that we should appreciate His Excellency for his visionary leadership in establishing a molecular lab 4 years ago. And it is this same molecular lab which we are using for Lassa all this while that we are now using for coronavirus diagnosis. Can we put our hands together for His Excellency?
Without this laboratory, the states would have been in great confusion when this outbreak came on board. I want to say that this laboratory was the 7th laboratory established all over the nation to handle COVID-19 samples, and the first in the southeastern geopolitical region of Nigeria. His Excellency has really supported this laboratory. He has invested so much in this laboratory and is still investing. So we want to thank God for giving us a wonderful governor. So this lab has processed close to 6,000 COVID-19 sample since this outbreak, and we have been able to diagnose over 1,000 positive samples. And I was trying to say that a positive test for COVID-19 is not a death sentence. So if you are tested and you are positive, don't say, my own has finished. There are doctors that are on ground that will tell you what to do, that will give you the treatment that you will get, take and get well very soon. So when you get well, your sample will also be tested in the lab and be declared negative. So that means that the virus is no longer existing in your body, to the extent that the machine we are using can no longer dictate it. So I want to say that the laboratory is playing a very important role as far as the war against COVID-19 is concerned. And we want to thank His Excellency once again for giving us the biology lab in a less appointment Federal Teaching Hospital Abakaliki. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point I would like to invite the Chief Medical Director of Alex Ekweme Federal University Teaching Hospital, our own Dr. Emeka Onoga, to please come forward and speak to us on the role of tertiary institution on combating COVID-19. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, the Knight of Ebonyi State, may I stand on the already established protocol to make my presentation and to speak on the role of tertiary institution in combating COVID-19. It's very, very simple and straightforward. What do we do as a teaching hospital? Our responsibility is to make diagnosis of cases. But before diagnosis, if somebody comes to the hospital, first, we may suspect that person as having COVID-19 based on the symptoms and signs that person will have. So first of all, there will be suspicion. When you are suspected, the next thing is to take you to the virology unit where your sample will be collected. That sample will be tested in the lab, just as he has said. If you are positive, what do? We treat you. If you are negative, what do? We tell you other things you will continue to do to remain negative. One thing is this: somebody who is positive now, treated, discharged as negative case, can still come back with COVID-19 again. So that you have suffered it the first time and you're okay does not mean that you will not have it again. So you must have to protect yourself. Next thing is this: what is the role? How do we help the schools? Because that is why we are here. The health workers have been trained previously. Before now they have been trained to be able to identify these children or their teachers that have symptoms and signs. When that is done, you will refer them to teaching hospital. We have an organogram and our numbers are there. where such cases can be, such numbers that will be called. As soon as it is called, the rapid response team will come to the school to pick the child or the teacher for confirmation. So, it is very, very important that there should be cooperation between the teachers and the students. Let me tell you one thing. Some of your students may have better knowledge on how to protect themselves from this COVID-19. So when such happens, please teachers, don't hate that child. Don't think that that child is insulting you. Please, again, if you're a teacher who is before the children without face mask, some of the children may, because of their age and their character, they may insult you. You try first to respect yourself. I think it is very, very important. Two, there is denial in the society. So many people have not agreed that there is COVID-19, both the teachers and the students. Part of this training, part of this lecture is to let us know that there is COVID-19. It is real. Many people have died. And because of this, the only way to escape death of COVID-19 is to accept that it exists and come to hospital on time. If you present late, what happens? You may not survive it. Some people that are died in the hospital is as a result of late presentation. We also notice something, that people have decided to run away from the teaching hospital because they are confirmed that they have COVID. Because of that, they go to peripheral hospitals, they go to pharmacy shops, they go to health centers, they go to private hospitals. By the time they will present, it will be late. We are appealing. Early presentation is the key. And when we do this, the death rate of COVID-19 will be reduced to zero in Ebonyi State. I will now conclude this by thanking our governor. He is our permanent governor and he has passion for health. I don't think there is any state that is doing what we are doing today. This is the beginning. There should be a clapping ovation for him. When he started this fight, finally when we had a case of COVID, I sent text to him and told him, sir, you have done well. All you did is not to prevent COVID from coming to Ebonyi State. But when it comes, let us catch them early and let us stop further spread. So we want to thank you for the good work you did. Thank you all and God bless you.
Thank you very much. May I invite at this point Dr. Ayo, the representative of World Health Organization, to please come forward and speak to us on the principles of COVID-19 risk communication for teachers and student administrators. Dr. Ayo, please. Absence of Dr. Ayo, it is my honor and privilege to very humbly invite our pragmatic Honorable Commissioner for Health, Dr. Daniel Mezrike, to please come forward for his presentation, which is the opening remarks on why we are here today.
Thank you, MC. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, the Wonder Working Governor of Ebonyi State, the pragmatic governor, our dear father of the state, Your Excellency, the most supportive deputy governor, and your colleague, deputy governor from other states, the right honorable speaker of the State House of Assembly, my dear brother and father, Deacon Austin Imani, the National Vice Chairman. I refer to you, the SSG, I've never stated. All protocols duly observed. Well, I want to say that I'm so highly impressed this evening to address you on this very important training meeting for health workers and teachers
of SS3 and GSS3 students that are the exit classes for WAEC and BESE. I want to start by, briefly at any point in time, briefing His Excellency on the situation report as regards COVID-19 in Ebonyi State. And I want to say that we have total confirmed cases of 908 cases in Ebonyi State, and a total of 3 unfortunate cases in Ebonyi State that we lost their lives due to COVID-19. And the medical team, the management team, has successfully treated and discharged 835 cases, held and hearty to their homes. And it's also of importance that we have 40 active cases in Ebonyi State. On this note, I want to welcome all the participants to this meeting and thank His Excellency for approving this meeting, because it's very important, very apt. And I want to thank His Excellency especially for transforming the health sector. We have had it so good. We have witnessed massive transformation in the health sector. He has constructed and equipped an ultra-modern virology center on inception of this administration. His Excellency has upgraded 13 general hospitals in Ebonyi State. His Excellency has upgraded 171 primary health centers in Ebonyi State, one per ward. His Excellency is at the verge of constructing and equipping the most sophisticated tertiary health institution in this country, the teaching hospital, EBBC. And the construction and the finishing work is at 90% completion. And His Excellency has also constructed and equipped a very magnificent School of Nursing and Midwifery, which has full accreditation. If I stand here to tell you what His Excellency has achieved within the 5 years in office, we will not live here. But that's a story for another day. But today, I want to thank you immensely for what you have done in the fight against COVID. COVID is a disease of very challenging indeed. The challenges of COVID is enormous. But His Excellency has fought COVID to stand still in Ebonyi State. And that is why I'm here to tell you that for the past few weeks, we have witnessed downward trend in the epic curve of COVID in Ebonyi State, both in the mortality rate and detection of new cases. So we have reached our climax before you know it. And today we are witnessing downward trend. We are flattening the curve with the effort of His Excellency. And today, if I want to tell you that he has categorized, he's a very focused leader. He has categorized what we have done when this case was reported in China. Some of us that are close to him, he told us in one evening that this is going to be a very difficult time for the world. He works as a man that knows the future. Just when it was mentioned how it was devastating Chinese, he said that this is going to be a difficult period for the world. And he started planning. When we had a case in Nigeria on 27th February, the game changed. And when we had a case, the index case, on 26th April 2020, they also stepped up the game. So he has been on the top of the game at all points. And we want to thank His Excellency for all this. And Eboyans are very happy. We are pleased to have a leader, a wonderful leader like him. And we just want to say that when God wants to bless a nation, he blesses them with a good leader. And when he wants to punish them, he gives them a bad leader. So today we are blessed in Ebonyi State, and we are very happy for it. History will not forget the name of Engineer David Umahiweze in Ebonyi State. In fact, the other time I went for National Council on Health in Abia State. I think it was 2017. I was intimidated by their hall, but today I am sure the Deputy Governor of Abia State will be so much intimidated by our Ecumenical Center. Thank you and God bless you. Today is not a day for a long speech, because when we briefed His Excellency on what we are going to do, he said he's going to talk to the teachers. He's going to talk to the health workers by himself. He's a pragmatic leader. So I'm not going to correct him. He's going to talk to us by himself. So on this note, I want to say and present to you 4,000 teachers for this training and 456 health workers that we have called this program of safe reopening of schools in Ebonyi State. Thank you and God bless you.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I invite the following school administrators and critical stakeholders in this project to please come forward for their opening message. May I invite the chairman of NUT Ebonyi State to please step forward. The chairman of the Secondary Education Board will also come forward. Dr. Mrs. Ezani, please step forward. High Chief Hyacinth Paul, Executive Chairman of UBEB, may I also invite you. 1 minute each. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of the fastest developing state and the most peaceful state in Nigeria. So let me now stand on the establishment program to actually, on behalf of the entire teachers of Ebonyi State, the students and pupils of Ebonyi State, thank our honorable governor for this wonderful occasion has put together for us. When he said he was going to train 4,000 teachers in Ebonyi State, I thought it wasn't going to work. But today, here it has worked. Thank you, Your Excellency. I also want to really appreciate him for actually carrying the teachers along in all his policies. And that is why at all times we meet, I've always assured him that the teachers are always very much ready to work with him. And right now I am still on that ground telling him that the teachers are very, very ready and willing to put in their best to ensure that all his dreams for the teachers, for the students, and for the Ebonians are realized. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Mr. Sazan.
Your Excellency, the education-friendly governor of Ebonyi State, the only governor who cares for the welfare of the students, the only governor who cares for the welfare of us teachers. We thank you. You are welcome, sir. I beg to stand on the already existing protocols. The Secondary Education Board family and the teachers of Secondary Education Board, the principals, the staff and welfare of the Secondary Education Board, without wasting much of our time, they are glad to say thank you, Your Excellency, for carrying us along in your work, in your policy, making us to feel like other civil servants. In distant past, teachers are are disregarded in everything pertaining policy making and implementation. But today in Ebonyi State, the story has changed because of our wonder-working excellency. Daddy, everything you are doing to the education sector is excellent, and we thank you, and you remain excellent. May God bless you, sir.
Your Excellency, the member of the state, today is yet a very good day. The teachers who are going to handle the LC classes are here. There is nothing the government has not done to make sure that this school resumption is a success. About 3 weeks ago, we sent a team to visit all the local governments to ensure that all the schools in Ebonyi State were cleaned up, both primary and secondary schools. That has been done. And after that, all the schools have been full-gated. In addition to that, we are seeing that in every school, we have 238 schools, secondary schools in Ebonyi State. In every school, Ministry of Health has posted 2 nurses to each school. On top of that, the coordinators are there. So which means that the school environment is safe by courtesy of His Excellency. Now the teachers, what we are going to do now is a great program. Examination begins on the 17th of August with mathematics. So we have about 10 days to prepare these children for examination. There should be no excuse. What you have to do is straight up to the point, reverse the syllabus and get them ready. So that in the end, the government of Ebonyi State will see the product of its investment. The product is going to see is good result in life. President, we thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Teachers are great. Teachers are great. Thank you very much. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege at this point to invite a man. Okay, internet please.
I'm alright to one. Is it you that came in here? You put that in there. Is that silence in that you put that in there? You put that in the movie. I'm gonna be my Anabika kotonye chubu ozere Ocha miye yezi kono Eze ni mumoka yube Eze ni mumoka yube Iro nezi no no Uduma ezi no lema Ezi no lema Ebonyi State And you know it's so Our guest from Abia State now His Excellency Okechukwu Ezi no lema Ebonyi State Ebi papa mo ezi no no Daddy di mo ezi no no Ema ike ọtụtụ ihe na-ewu adịghị atụ atụ na-ewu ọtụtụ ihe na-ewu ọkasa ajụrụ n'ezinụlọ eze iwu ụlọ dịka mmiri si n'igwe na-ehudata ọgwụgwọ nsọ si n'igwe na-ehudata ọbara Chukwu si na Chukwu ebe n'ụwa ejitere ya n'ọnụ onye ji ngoma ụya wee gọzie agha ịkpọ ka eze ji ụmụ ka showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. We have seen the season of washing. Say, your love. Everybody say, showers of blessing. Showers of blessing. Praise the Lord. I had to move my mask so that you will recognize me as your governor. I am back. I was never sick, but God told me something, that by being infected I was going to learn some lessons that will help to safeguard the lives of Ebonyi people, and I did. I became the experiment to the medical team that they needed to know the most effective method and process to
deliver the lives of our people. I was never sick for one day. I was active, and I was supported hugely in prayers by the ESCO members, all the sectors of governance, Ebonians, CANs, friends, within and outside. Sometimes you need to step out to understand the much you are loved. You know, when you bring files and it's not approved, you'll be angry, then you thought you are not loved. But when you no longer have opportunity of approving files, then you know that you're loved. And so I want to use the opportunity before you, my leaders and my people, to say thanks be to our God who has saved us. And to thank Ebonians and friends of Ebonyi State, friends of me, my family, and to thank my family members, and to thank very specially the Deputy Governor who took over the leadership of the fight against COVID-19, and the Speaker, and our Oga, the National Vice Chairman, my party Chairman, the Commissioner for Health, CMD, I can mention all of you, and the press were simply very wonderful. I can't thank you enough. When we stage a night of praise to thank God, and I will use the opportunity to express my gratitude to God, to each and every one of you. I wish I can do individually something very different in your lives to express my happiness and appreciation of your solidarity, support and prayers. But I believe strongly that as we strive to make a difference in the future of our children, I believe that it will be one of enough ways to let you know that I appreciate you so much. I want to thank you. Actually, there is a song I want to sing to God, but I don't really, is it this guy's song? What is the name? You sang it in my birthday. Edward Frank. Rain of Miracle. Let me dance.
Thank you.
seated, please. Thank you very much. One of the things that God told me in isolation is that no man or woman or child in Ebonyi State will any longer die of COVID-19. And so what do we need to do? All we need to do is to be careful, not to be afraid of it. Simply to be careful. Observe all the protocols and believe God. This is very important. Your Excellencies, my Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, our dear brother, the Governor of Abia State, here represented by his very hard-working, dependable Deputy Governor of Abia State, the Right Honorable Speaker of Ebonyi State House of Assembly, Your Excellency, the National Vice Chairman. Let me stand on protocols in place. Representative of the Chief Judge of Ebonyi State. I want to first apologize for being late. Government job is a very difficult one. So it's quite tough, but God is very kind to us. Let me especially thank the Deputy Governor, the Speaker, Commissioner for Health, CMD, and all our team on this fight against COVID-19. Our local government caretaker, chairmen, and women have been simply very wonderful. Very wonderful. I tell you something, I just wish the incoming chairman, I don't want you to surpass what they're doing, just do what they're doing. Anybody who fails to live up to what they're doing will resist the person. Those in support say aye. We can no longer pretend in delivery of services to our people. They have done very well. The medical team have attested to that. You know, at the mountain of transfiguration, was it Peter speaking, saying, Jesus, let us build 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Elijah, and one for Moses. And that's what the medical team were suggesting about the caretaker children. And I answered them like our Lord Jesus Christ, that is not up to us to do that, for the law is before us. But I want to thank you people as you round up this month, still make a very good difference in this new program to safeguard our children and our teachers and our health workers. I want to simply say to you, thank you. Thank you. Put your hands together for them. The leadership of NUT, though I don't often meet with them, but they are the best I've ever seen. They are the best. They never ask for themselves. This has always been the welfare of the teachers. And the moment you take care of the teachers, they will never ask for any other thing. So both NLC, NUT, NUJ, we are very, very grateful to you. We thank you very much. Can you put your hands together for them? I want to ask Ebonyians to have confidence in God and our medical team. Our treatment is the most effective in the whole country. It's the most effective. We are going to even add more vigor to that, so that when once somebody tests positive within 7 days of reaching our treatment center, the person is back on his or her feet and we go home. Those we have lost were people that decided to leave us. That's the truth. The moment you are not feeling well, even in this season, we tend to treat both COVID and no COVID free of charge. So you report. It's at the beginning we thought that the herbs can do the job. Let me declare that the herbs alone can no longer do the job. Can you put your hands together for me now? Now wait a minute. Even comments and comments. We should be very happy. I saw some of you not dancing. You don't quarrel with God. You are not quarreling with God. So those that have lost their lives are those that out of carelessness decided to leave us. We've had very terrible cases, and the new method of treatment is that no matter what the case is and you come on time, you will be up on your feet within 24 hours. Put your hands together to our medical team. And so this COVID, we must deploy strategy and wisdom to win the war. And I'm happy that our lab test is balancing out. We have just about 20% of positive result in every of our tests. So the curve tends to be flattened. And so today we brought together our teachers, the most productive sector of our civil service. We brought them together with another very, very productive sector, the health sector in our civil service, to put the lives of our students first in the hands of God and secondly in your hands. It is a time for every one of us to stand up. It is the future of our children. It is the future generation, those that will succeed us. You know, the Bible said, teach a child the way he should follow. When he grows up, will not miss it. And teaching our children about COVID protocol is one of it. The traditional rulers are involved. Town union people are involved. Chairman of local government, councillors, coordinators, management committee, self-board, you get board. The health sector, the 13 general hospitals, and all stakeholders are involved. And I thank the Commissioner of Education, the Board of SED, the Board of EBBC, and the Education Secretary. We've done very well in the sector of education in this state and among the committee of other states in education matter. I'm happy with the ongoing renovation, but I call it construction. I hate renovation. And the teachers will attest on the quality of buildings that are going on. For the first time, they are going to have their offices with toilets incorporated. The students will have their classrooms with toilets incorporated. And we're coming. When we bow out, we want to be known for the quality of these buildings that we are putting together. And so we thank you very much. One of the things that God is doing for us, and the fight we staged from the beginning of our administration, is to understand our size. Our size financially. You know, sometimes people come to me and say that, look at what River State is paying, look at what Enugu is paying, look at what the Lagos is paying. That is foolishness. It's foolishness. I cannot go into a context of taking something at a particular height with a tapa asobo or with a pop. I can't do that. But when it comes to something on the ground, we can struggle. And so let me use the opportunity to ask members of the civil service in the judiciary, do not succumb to the temptation of going on strike. I will replace all of you overnight. Because you will not get one kobo. You will not, if you don't work, you will not get paid. You know, the deputy governor and the speaker, they have handled them so much. They say that other states pay more than us. They said, bring it. They brought it. We pay more than a Bible. There are few states that pay ahead of us, but they couldn't produce it. And the civil service is in the concurrent list. You pay according to your needs. If you come to IGL table, we are about the list. So it's foolishness for you to tell me that this is paying this, this is paying this. We are doing our best. Remember, we were so neglected. There was no infrastructure before. There was no medical facilities. Schools were moribund. And so everything becomes very urgent in the life of our state. And so we have to attend to everything. And so let them not succumb to the temptation of saying they are going on strike. It will be one strike they will regret forever. Other states are cutting down on salaries of civil servants and public office holders. But we all came here in the citizens' budget, and I made a pledge before God and before all of you that no salary cut, whether civil servants or public servants in Ebonyi State. Will you put your hands together for Jesus? And so somebody is asking me to increase salary. Even if they were right, is it the time they should be talking about that in the midst of this COVID? But I must thank our medical team, our teachers, our civil servants. Thank you for the partnership, for the love, and for your deep understanding. This is a ship being tossed up and down by the wave. But he that brought us is able to stay the ship, and we shall anchor safely in Jesus' name. We are told that our students number is about 38,000 plus. And so, let me say the students about 37 plus. So I rounded it up to 38,000. Both GSS3 and SS3. And so what we are here to do is, what can we do as government? What will parents do? The first thing that parents must do is to buy water bottle. Water bottle to every child that is coming to school. It's not possible to provide boreholes in all the 228 schools. And even if we can, which we can't, the timing is very important. And so every child that is coming to school must provide a water bottle with a little tablet of soap. And so it's the duty of the principals and the teachers to ensure that there is a hand washing location, class by class. They do that. It is the duty of the local government chairman, the coordinators, to ensure through the community leaders that grasses in all the 228 schools are cleared. It has always been happening. Chairman, please take note and go around and ensure compliance. And so, what do we do for you? We are going to provide immediately and today, Deputy Governor to take note, and Speaker and Humanitarian Service Woman, Mrs. Aliwe, that we have 250 milliliter of sanitizers. There are 13,920. It should be made available to these 38,000 students. Should be made available. It's for them. So how you distribute it, you will know. We have approximately 4,000 teachers and about 500 health workers, because the local government health workers must also join. And so 350 milliliter of sanitizers is 1,178, and 500 milliliter is 373. We have to dedicate it to these 4,000 teachers and 500 health workers immediately. Outside this, we are going to be providing this. Apart from this, this is phase 1. Phase 2, every student is going to have this, and every teacher will have this, and every health worker is going to have this. It will be your property to take home, to bring to school, and when the liquid finishes, we will go around and refill it immediately. So we have ordered for 40,000 pieces of this. You will get within the next 2 weeks. We have motorized fumigation system. We've empowered them to go around and fumigate the schools immediately, and I think work has started immediately. On the face mask, we have sanitizers produced by our vocational college, and also the one donated to me by my brother, the governor of Cross River State. It's a total of 165,000 in stock. And so today we will distribute. It's going to be over 4 pieces per student. 4 pieces per student. 4 pieces per student. And we have N95 nose mask, this one, the one I'm using. We want 1,000 pieces of it to be given to the health workers. That is 2 pieces per one person. This nose mask, N95. Because the most important people in this program is the health workers. God forbid they are sick, they can't deliver to us. And then we have disposable face mask, which some of you are wearing. Head of service, can you turn around so that they will see you? This is it. It's coming to the teachers. It's 75,000. It's going to be over 20 pieces per every teacher. 20 pieces per every teacher. Are they rejoicing or murmuring? Teachers, put your hands together for us. Teachers are great. No control. workers may be needing allowances and teachers' appreciation. That is not part of my protocol today. Ndị ebe anyị si n'ụra tọba ụtọ ekwube ya ekwu. Ọkwa ya o, just do your best. People, the health workers will ask for transport money. No. We pay you consolidated allowance. Instead of going to work in that health center, go to work in that school you are posted to. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. No be so. But be assured that I love you and I'm going to be planning how I will make you very happy in this exercise. Both the teachers and health workers, be assured. Be assured. Teachers, I provided small transport money for you. If they give you less than 1,000, don't take. Health workers, your own is more than 1,000. You know our government now open secret. Everything now open. No be so?
That's so.
I say you know, this COVID is a very good thing against examination malpractices. Because social distance must be observed. And so giraffing will no longer work. No be so? So I want to advise the students and the teachers. The problem of this COVID is that it's not all about you. It's about you and your family and your friends. And so if we don't totally observe the protocol, God forbid, and teacher transmits to students, student transmits to their fellow students, students take it back to their parents, it becomes a problem. But it shall not be our case in Jesus' name. There are a lot of people that have the COVID, they don't show symptoms. And we meet this very strong, but they still go about transmitting the disease. And that's why after my speech they will be training. I'm sure within 1 hour they will do training and teachers will have to put the protocols down. We believe that as students are coming to school, there is washing hands locations. As soon as they wash their hands, they sanitize and go to their classes. And the chairs are spaced. And people are in their nose mask. Very important. No nose mask, nobody should be allowed into school. And the thermometer is used to check them. The moment your temperature is high, you are lifted immediately to our testing center. Positive, no problem. 7 days you will enjoy your people. Is that okay? So this is my advice to you. We have one good news of referral hospital for the entire 82 division, which Mr. President and Chief of Army Staff graciously gave us. It's going to be opposite the stadium. Many good things are happening in Ebonyi State. So by 3 p.m., those here will be excusing themselves and maybe the ESCO members. But then the medical team will be here until the training is done. Because when we train you, the first thing you do with the health workers is to train the students. You address them. And then the sharing of the COVID something will also happen. Mrs. Aliwe is going to be in charge. Speaker will later join, but we have the list here. Can she come up, please, on this? Perhaps PS will also have to work with her.
Yes, sir.
I testify.
For the Lord God is my portion. I say it's my daily glory. Oh, my God never turns us on. Jesus never teaches us to prosper. I have come with stories to tell. I have come with testimony. Take it, so you can say with testimony. It is a God of me, it was easy. All I have is testimony. For the Lord God is the one on him forever. Every day, testimony. Every day, testimony. See the world is walking, and I'm so full of grace. The morning, testimony. Take it night, testimony. How we tell the story of how we overcame. I testify. I testify. Your excellence, your life is not ordinary. It's filled with signs and wonders. Upon this great work, the Lord has done. My body teaches me to prosper. I have come with stories to tell. I have come with testimony. Take a look at yourself in this, so you can call yourself testimony. It is a God, it was easy. All I know is testimony. For the Lord God is our portion, we shall have testimony. Every day, testimony. See the world is walking, and I'm so full of
We are going to swear in members of okay, make them arrive here. With all glory to God and gratitude to those who are in the front line in this fight against COVID-19, it is my pleasure to flag off safe reopening of our schools for the exit classes in Jesus' name. Where are they? Come up.
Attorney General Commissioner for Justice, please briefly give us opening remarks.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Ebonyi State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, with all due respect, may I rely on the protocol which is already in place. Your Excellency, following the expiration of the tenure of members of the State Civil Service Commission and that of the State Independent Electoral Commission, we graciously forwarded your members designate to the State House of Assembly for screening and possible confirmation. Your Excellency, the House of Assembly, in exercise of their functions under Section 198 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has screened and confirmed the Commissioners designate for Civil Service Commission and OPSEC. And therefore, today, Your Excellency, they are here to be sworn in so that they can kick off the activities of that commission, especially with respect to the local government election that is forthcoming. May I, with all due respect, Your Excellency, invite you to humbly swear them in. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Go ahead, go ahead. Please, you may be seated. Those are.
Anyway, Solomon, you solemnly swear that I will be faithful and true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will protect, and constitute the President of the Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. Solomon only. You solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and as member of the State Civil Service Commission, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I will not allow my personal interests, but to save my official conduct or my official decision. But I will bow by the code of conduct contained in the fee schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person, any matter, which has been thrown under my consideration or shall become known to me as a member, except as may be required for the discharge of my duties. That I will at all times do service to the state and both personal gains. So help me God.
You are sworn in the glory of God, and on your behalf, I accept. Time is running again. Congratulations. Congratulations. I will do a photograph with you here. There will be no national anthem because the program is continuing. When I flag off the referral hospital, I will come back to close the section. Is that correct? Those who are in the protocol list to go there can exit. If you are in the protocol list, exit. But I am coming back to close the section. I don't believe the section will take more than 1 hour. Yes? Okay, then we conclude the training and share the stipends. Here, not after. And then also share the face mask and the sanitizers. So that the principals can arrange to carry, their own. And while we are doing that, I will come back to close the section.
So can you be there for photograph? One photograph.
Please photograph with His Excellency. Let's observe social distancing as we do this. Please face the other side. Face the crowd. Yeah.
The Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer Dr. David Mahi, the newly sworn-in members of the State Civil Service Commission, the State Independent Electoral Commission, FCEC. On this occasion of the training of teachers on safe school resumption, management and conduct of 2020 SST and SST students in the state. At the Christian Ecumenical Center, entering into the last phase of this program. Once again, we are wishing you so 1 FM
cheta na anyị ka na ya na ọgbakọ nkuzi maka etu a ga-esi wee chekwa ụmụntakịrị anyị ha ndị ụlọ akwụkwọ nọrọ na ọdịso a wee gbape maka ha